What would you do if you were the only human standing between three lost alien princesses and certain death? One man, no weapon stronger than human ingenuity, no armor tougher than his courage, is about to face ancient cosmic powers, impossible trials, and enemies older than the stars themselves. Will he survive where gods would fall? Will humanity's greatest strengths, courage, intelligence, and sheer determination, be enough to protect those who cannot protect themselves? The universe is about to learn the true power of a human. Watch till the end, and see why one man could change the fate of an entire galaxy. The sky above the abandoned star station flickered with violent pulses of blue light. Jace Orion ran through a fractured corridor, breath sharp, lungs burning, carrying the smallest princess in his arms while the other two followed close behind him. He was only human, but today that meant something terrifying to the enemies chasing them. Human, they are gaining on us. Princess Arya shouted, her silver hair glowing in the dark. Jace spun around, raised his plasma carbine, and fired 3 precise shots that split the metallic hallway with explosions. No fear, no hesitation. The pursuing war drones collapsed into molten scrap. The princesses stared at him with awe and confusion. Why would a human fight this hard for aliens he had met only hours ago? Jace knew the answer. Because no one else would. Because humanity had been underestimated for centuries. Because he refused to let innocent beings die. Keep moving, Jace said. This station is collapsing. The walls groaned. Metal screamed. The artificial gravity flickered. A storm of sparks rained down. Princess Lyra grabbed his arm. Her voice trembled. Jace, my mother will come for us if she believes we are still alive. Jace nodded. I will keep you alive long enough for that. They reached the shattered docking bay. Jace's ship, the Resolute, floated in the ruined hangar, half covered in debris, but still operational. He pushed the princesses inside and sealed the hatch. The engines roared. The station exploded behind them in a massive shockwave of fire and shattered steel. Jace piloted through the chaos with impossible human reflexes. Every blast nearly tore the hull apart. Every wrong move meant instant death. But Jace did not fail. Not today. Not ever. At last, they breached into open space. Silence. Breathing. Relief. Princess Arya touched his shoulder softly. Jace Orion, you saved all 3 of us. Our entire royal lineage would have ended without you. Jace leaned back and exhaled slowly. I told you, as long as you are with me, no one harms you. But then, the ship received an incoming transmission. A hologram formed in front of them. A towering alien woman with radiant crimson armor and eyes that glowed like twin suns. Her presence filled the room with ancient, crushing power. Princess Lyra gasped. Mother, the queen of the Celestian Empire, had found them. Her voice resonated with authority older than 1,000 worlds. Human, you have taken my daughters. You have placed yourself between royal blood and certain death. You have acted with courage that my own generals have failed to show. She paused. Her gaze sharpened. And now you must answer me. Jace squared his shoulders. His hands curled into fists. He stood his ground against a queen who could vaporize planets. I will answer to no one, he said. I protected your daughters because it was right, and I will keep protecting them if anything threatens them again. For a moment, the queen said nothing. Then the lights on the ship flickered. A cosmic shadow passed behind her. Something enormous. Something ancient. Something rising. The queen's expression shifted from authority to fear. Human, prepare yourself. There's a power awakening in this galaxy. Something even my empire cannot face. Jace felt the air grow cold. What kind of power? The queen stared directly into his soul. The kind that hunts royal blood. The kind that has tracked my daughters through the stars. The kind that will come for you next. Her hologram crackled violently, and then she said something that froze the princesses in terror. They have found you. The stars outside blinked out one by one. A colossal shape emerged from the darkness, and Jace realized this was only the beginning. The colossal shape hovered in the void, its massive frame blotting out stars. Jace's heart pounded. not with fear, but with anticipation. Every fiber of his human body screamed that survival required action, not hesitation. The princesses huddled close. Their radiant auras flickered in fear. "This is not just a ship," whispered Princess Arya. "This is a predator, an ancient one." Jace's hands danced over the ship's controls. Engines roared. Shields flared. Weapons charged. "I do not run from threats," Jace said. "I face them. All of them." The colossal shadow surged forward. It moved with intelligence, calculated, deliberate, and merciless. The first energy beam slammed into the Resolute. Metal screamed. Sparks flew. Systems failed. But Jace gritted his teeth and recalibrated faster than any AI could. Humans think, adapt, and act. He proved that in the next heartbeat. "Divert all power to forward shields," he ordered. The princesses obeyed, their hands glowing as ancient Celestian magic fused with the human-engineered systems. The predator recoiled, then unleashed a torrent of energy that warped space itself. Jace's eyes narrowed. No one had faced this before. No human, no alien. Yet he refused to let the legends of impossibility define him. He maneuvered the Resolute with a daring human instinct, dodging, weaving, and striking at weak points that no sensor could predict. Every move displayed a courage the galaxy underestimated. Princess Lyra shouted, her voice a blend of awe and fear. "Human, how do you survive that?" Jace smiled grimly. "Because humanity thrives where others break." The predator roared, a sound that shattered the vacuum of space in ways impossible to describe. Its form shifted, revealing massive appendages tipped with crystalline weapons, pulsing with energy older than galaxies. "Brace yourselves," Jace yelled. Human ingenuity is about to meet impossible odds. He hit a sequence of buttons so complicated that even AI logic struggled to comprehend. The Resolute split into multiple energy projections, mirages of himself, designed to confuse and divide the predator's focus. The colossal enemy lunged at one projection and crashed into nothingness. Jace seized the opportunity and launched a pulse grenade directly at the predator's core. The explosion tore through the void with a brilliance that rivaled a dying star. The predator staggered, but it did not fall. It looked at Jace. Intelligence glimmered in its alien mind. Recognition. Respect. Jace realized, even as he breathed heavily, that this was a creature that would not be defeated by force alone. And yet, he refused to retreat. Because humans never give up. Because humans never surrender. And because the princesses depended on him. Then the queen's voice returned through the comms. Her tone had shifted. Admiration replaced fear. "Human, you have drawn the attention of forces no one has faced in millennia. You have earned your place in the legends of my empire. But be warned, the next wave is closer than you think." Jace's grip on the controls tightened. He stared at the predator, calculating, planning, surviving. Human strength, human courage, human ingenuity. His greatest weapons in a galaxy that thought him weak. And then, in the distance, a new signal pulsed. A fleet of unknown ships approached, moving faster than light itself. The predator hissed, sensing reinforcements. The stars trembled. Jace glanced at the princesses, determination burning in his eyes. "Strap in," he said. "This is going to get very interesting." The unknown fleet approached faster than anything Jace had ever seen. Their shapes were jagged, alien, and seemingly alive, pulsing with dark energy that defied physics. The predator behind them shrieked, turning its crystalline weapons toward the approaching armada. Jace's hands danced across the controls. Every lever, every switch, every sequence of commands flowed instinctively. Human reflexes, human intuition, human courage. He was the difference between death and survival. "Princesses," Jace said, his voice calm despite the chaos outside, "do not fear. You will see what humans can do." Princess Arya and Princess Lyra exchanged glances. They had seen courage, but not like this. Not raw. Unyielding determination paired with ingenuity that even advanced alien technology struggled to counter. The first wave of enemy ships struck. Energy beams tore through space like liquid fire. The Resolute twisted and flipped, evading strikes with movements that no program AI could have executed. Divert all remaining energy to forward shields and thrusters. Jace barked. The princesses obeyed, their celestian powers amplifying the human-engineered systems. Magic and technology intertwined, creating a shield that shimmered like liquid light. The fleet fired again. Massive kinetic strikes slammed into the shields. The ship groaned. Metal bent. Sparks rained down. Jace smiled grimly. Human brains solve problems no alien can predict, he muttered. He activated the ship's experimental temporal thrusters, a device humans had developed in secret for moments exactly like this. The Resolute blinked in and out of reality, moving in ways the alien fleet could not track. Every strike Jace dodged, every evasive maneuver, every counterattack showcased human adaptability in a universe designed to punish mistakes. The Predator behind them roared again, sensing the shift. It lunged through space, attempting to crush them in a final, decisive blow. Jace fired the ship's main pulse cannon. Energy erupted, colliding with the Predator's crystalline core. A shockwave rippled through the void, tossing the enemy fleet back. For a moment, silence fell. The princesses stared, awestruck. You are more than a human," Princess Arya whispered. "You are a force of the stars." Jace glanced at the vast emptiness ahead. The fleet was not destroyed, only delayed. The Predator still lurked. The Queen's warning echoed in his mind. The next wave is closer than you think. And he knew she was right. Somewhere, deeper in the void, ancient powers stirred. Forces older than empires, older than galaxies, were awakening. But Jace Orion, human of flesh and blood, would face them all, because he protected what others could not. Because he fought when everything else was impossible. Because in a universe built for the strong, humans had yet to show their true strength. And this was only the beginning. A signal blinked on the ship's console. It was a distress call, not from the princesses, not from the Queen, but from a world engulfed in chaos. Jace gritted his teeth. He set the coordinates. He knew what awaited him that would test everything he had. Courage, intelligence, and the very limits of human endurance. "Hold on," he said to princesses. "The universe is about to get a lot more dangerous." The distress signal pulsed with urgency. It came from a planet cloaked in swirling crimson storms and jagged magnetic fields that tore at spacefarer sensors. Jace gritted his teeth as the Resolute pierced the upper atmosphere. The storm below was alive, electric arcs dancing like serpents, winds howling with the force of 1,000 hurricanes. No normal ship could survive. But Jace's hands were steady. Human intuition, human courage, human recklessness. He had survived impossible odds before, and he would do so again. "Hold tight," he said to the princesses. The air inside the ship vibrated with tension. They clutched straps, hearts pounding, but their faith in him was absolute. The ship shuddered violently as the magnetic storms tried to tear it apart. Engines flared, shields strained. A massive lightning strike slammed against the hull, denting the metal but leaving the crew intact. Jace's eyes glimmered with determination. Humans survive when machines fail. Humans innovate when the universe tests them. Humans endure when the cosmos refuses mercy. The planet's surface came into view, a jagged expanse of obsidian towers and glowing fissures. The distress call originated from the largest tower, pulsating with strange energy. Jace navigated the ship through narrow chasms, evading lightning strikes and plasma bursts from the ground. The princesses watched in awe. Even the Celestian magic they wielded could not match the combination of instinct and strategy flowing from this human pilot. Finally, they landed on a jagged plateau. The storm above raged, but here, the winds twisted around the towers, leaving a fragile calm. Jace opened the hatch. The air was thick with energy, charged with the hum of ancient technology. The ground beneath their feet vibrated. It felt alive. Why is this happening?" Princess Lyra whispered. Jace's eyes scanned the horizon. "There is something on this planet," he said. "Something that wants to test us, and it will not stop until it breaks everything human." A shadow moved across the obsidian towers. It was not natural. It was not machine. It was deliberate. Jace drew his pulse carbine. The princesses gathered around him, ready to amplify their magic through his tech, creating a hybrid of alien power and human ingenuity. The shadow leapt forward. A creature larger than anything documented by Celestian records, armored in black crystal, with eyes that burn like molten cores. It spoke, not in words, but in a resonance that shook the ground and rattled their bones. "Mortal, you trespass. You will not leave." Jay stepped forward, unfazed. Humans never bow to threats they cannot understand. Humans never surrender to impossibilities. "I am Jace Orion," he said, voice steady. "I protect what matters. I survive what you think impossible, and I will not let you harm anyone here." The creature hissed. It lunged. The battle had begun. The planet itself seemed to fight against them. But Jace Orion, human among gods and monsters, would prove that courage, strength, and ingenuity could challenge even ancient, impossible powers. The shadow creature landed with thunderous impact, sending cracks across the obsidian plateau. Jace Orion did not flinch. Humans thrive where others falter. Humans adapt when the universe itself rises against them. He fired his pulse carbine. The shots tore through the creature's crystalline armor, but barely made a scratch. The princesses stepped forward, their magic shimmering and merging with Jace's weapons. Energy arcs surged around them, creating a field that amplified his attacks, a fusion of human ingenuity and alien power. The creature hissed, its molten eyes blazing. It lashed its crystalline limbs toward them. The ground cracked, sending geysers of molten rock into the air. Jace ducked, rolled, and fired a volley of precise shots, aiming for the joints and gaps in its armor. Every movement was calculated, every decision instinctive. The creature shrieked, a sound that vibrated through the very air, and the plateau beneath them began to shift. The planet was alive. It was testing them. It was trying to crush them before they could even confront the shadow beast. Jace ran toward a jagged tower, dodging bursts of molten energy. He reached the base and slammed the device against the rock. It pulsed, a human-engineered destabilizer designed to redirect energy flows. The tower trembled. Lightning from the storm above arced through the device, channeling into the ground. The energy field around the creature faltered. Jace saw the opportunity. He fired a concentrated pulse into the creature's molten core. Cracks appeared across its black crystal body. It roared in fury. The princesses combined their magic, creating a bridge of energy linking the pulse cannon to the destabilizer. Human engineering and alien power worked as one. The creature staggered. It let out a final, deafening roar. Then, with a blinding flash, it shattered, crystal scattering across the obsidian plateau. Jace dropped to one knee, chest heaving. The princesses rushed to him. "Human," Princess Arya said, eyes wide with awe, "you are not just brave. You are incredible." Jace smiled wearily. "This is what humans do," he said. "We face what others believe impossible. We endure what others cannot. And we survive when the universe itself tries to crush us." But even as they celebrated, the planet trembled again. The storm above intensified. New energy signals pulsed through the ground. Something deeper, older was awakening. The princesses looked at Jace with fear and hope mixed in their eyes. "You have done it again," Princess Lyra said. "But what is coming next?" Jace stared into the horizon, determination burning brighter than the lightning above. Whatever it is, the universe is about to learn what humans are capable of. And far above, in the void, the Queen's voice echoed in their minds. "Human, you have survived the first trial. The next trial will test more than courage. It will test your soul." Jace Orion tightened his grip on his pulse carbine. The planet quaked, the shadows deepened, and the universe whispered its challenge. Humanity would rise. Human ingenuity would shine. Human courage would defy the impossible. The ground shook violently beneath the Resolute's landing site. From the cracks in the obsidian plateau, jagged towers rose, forming an intricate labyrinth that twisted and shifted as if alive. Jace Orion's eyes narrowed. "The planet is not done yet," he muttered. "Humans survive by thinking, by adapting, by never giving up. Let us see if it can stop us." The princesses followed him, their glowing forms lighting the labyrinth's dark corridors. Every step was dangerous. The walls pulsed with energy that threatened to crush metal, flesh, and bone alike. "This place," Princess Arya whispered, "it is alive. It moves. It tests us. Jace grinned, a cold, fearless human grin. Good. Then it will learn what humans do when faced with the impossible. The labyrinth walls shifted again. Traps of ancient design, spikes, energy fields, and gravitational distortions sprang from the floor and ceiling. Jace vaulted over a gaping chasm. The princesses followed, weaving their magic to stabilize the shifting floors. Every movement was precise, every decision calculated. No AI could match the improvisation of a human mind faced with unpredictability. Suddenly, a shadow emerged, a guardian of the labyrinth, an ancient sentinel shaped from living crystal, eyes glowing with intelligence and malice. It moved with unnatural speed, striking at them with crystalline blades that split the air. Jace rolled, fired, dodged, and improvised. He used the labyrinth's own shifting walls as cover, turning the planet's trial against itself. The princesses combined their powers with Jace's ingenuity, creating temporary shields, teleporting across gaps, and striking at the Guardian's weak points. The Sentinel howled, a sound that shattered the labyrinth's energy fields. It was relentless. It was intelligent. But it was human ingenuity against ancient design. Jace noticed a faint energy pattern running across the walls. He realized the labyrinth itself could be manipulated. He barked orders to princesses. Channel your magic into the walls. Redirect the energy fields. We turn this trap into our advantage. For the first time, the labyrinth resisted the sentinel, not them. The walls shifted to trap the Guardian's limbs, its attacks faltering. With a concentrated pulse from his carbine, amplified by the princess's magic, Jace shattered the sentinel completely. Crystal shards scattered across the floor. The labyrinth quaked, then stilled, recognizing defeat. Jace wiped sweat from his brow, chest heaving. He turned to the princesses. "This is what humans do," he said quietly. "We survive the impossible. We turn the universe's trials into our own victories. And we keep going no matter the cost." Princess Lyra's eyes glimmered. "You are extraordinary. More than any being I have ever met." Jace looked ahead. Beyond the labyrinth, a faint glow pulsed in the distance, the source of the distress signal. And likely, the next trial. The planet whispered again, as if alive. The storm raged above. And far away in the void, the Queen's voice echoed. "Human, you have proven your strength. But the universe has not yet tested your limits. The next trial will demand more than courage. It will demand your very essence." Jace tightened his grip on his carbine. The labyrinth had been survived. The sentinel had been defeated. And yet, the universe was only beginning its challenge. The princesses followed him without hesitation. They trusted him. They depended on him. And Jace Orion, human of flesh and blood, would continue to prove what humanity was truly capable of. The glow ahead pulsed like a heartbeat. It was alive. Not a creature, not a machine, but a consciousness. Ancient, vast, and aware. Its presence pressed on Jace's mind, testing his thoughts, probing his fears, and weighing his resolve. The princesses gasped, their hands glowing with combined magic. But even their power flickered under the weight of the entity's intelligence. Jace took a deep breath. Humans survive where others break. Humans adapt where others falter. Humans endure where the universe itself refuses mercy. He stepped forward. The light pulsed faster. It spoke, not in words, but in emotions, visions, and raw understanding. "Mortal, you dare enter my domain? Your kind is fragile. Your life is brief. Your power insignificant." Jace squared his shoulders. "I am Jace Orion. I protect those who cannot defend themselves. I survive what others deem impossible. I endure what the universe believes unbeatable. And I do not yield to fear." The entity recoiled slightly, intrigued. It had not encountered such audacity in millennia. Nothing alive had faced it without trembling. Nothing alive had met its gaze without breaking. Suddenly, the entity unleashed a wave of psychic force. The plateau shook. Rocks levitated. Energy arced through the air like molten lightning. The princesses screamed, struggling to maintain control of their powers. Jace, unflinching, activated the ship's gravimetric stabilizers remotely. The Resolute hovered above, emitting a counter frequency that dampened the psychic shock waves. Human ingenuity. human courage, human determination. Even an ancient mind had to acknowledge it. The entity tested them further, reshaping reality itself. Gravity reversed. Time slowed. Shadows became solid. The air itself tried to crush them. But Jace Orion did not stop. He analyzed patterns in the chaos, calculated safe pathways, and directed the princesses through the living storm. "Follow my lead," he shouted. Every move exploited the entity's own energy flows. Every decision turned the impossible against itself. The entity paused, curious, sensing the human mind adapting, predicting, and innovating. No alien, no machine, no godlike being had ever demonstrated such resilience. Jay saw the core of the entity, a pulsing sphere of condensed energy older than galaxies. If he struck it directly, they would all die. But he could redirect its own energy. He could use human ingenuity to survive where others could not. He activated a sequence of pulse cannons, destabilizers, and the princess's combined magic. Energy converged on the core, not to destroy, but to contain and redirect. The entity roared, a sound that shook the stars themselves. But it could not overcome the creativity, courage, and persistence of a single human. And Jace Orion stood, pulse carbine in hand, facing a consciousness older than time, unbowed, unbroken, unstoppable. The princesses stared, awe and fear mingling in their eyes. You are beyond any legend," Princess Arya whispered. Jace smirked, bloody but unyielding. "Humanity has always been underestimated, and the universe is about to find out why that is a mistake." Far above, beyond the storms, beyond the trials, the Queen's voice resonated in their minds. "Human, you survive where others fall. But the greatest test is not yet here. The trials will escalate, and the universe will demand more than courage, more than strength. It will demand your essence." Jace tightened his grip on the pulse carbine. He had faced impossible odds, ancient guardians, and sentient trials. He had survived. He had protected the princesses. He had proven that humans, fragile though they seem, could triumph where gods fear to tread. And yet, the next challenge waited. Looming, ancient, relentless, and unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. The void stretched endlessly above them, alive with celestial storms and the remnants of battles that had scarred entire star systems. Jace Orion stood at the forefront of the obsidian plateau, pulse carbine still in hand, and the three princesses behind him, each glowing with the combined power of the Celestian lineage. The entity, the ancient mind that had tested them, tried to crush them, and challenged every fiber of their being, hovered before them. Its consciousness spanned galaxies, its intelligence older than the stars themselves. It had come to judge, to annihilate, to prove that a single human was nothing against the immensity of cosmic power. Jace's chest rose and fell steadily. Every battle, every impossible trial, every moment he had survived to protect these princesses had led to this. "You think me insignificant," he said, voice calm but resonant. "You think that my life, my kind, my determination cannot alter the course of your designs. But you are wrong. Humanity thrives where others fail. Humanity endures where others crumble. Humanity rises when the universe believes it impossible." The entity pulsed with energy, shaking the plateau beneath their feet. Its presence was suffocating, its intelligence probing every corner of Jace's mind, seeking fear, weakness, hesitation. It found none. Human. It resonated in thoughts rather than words. "You are unusual. Your courage is beyond comprehension. Your ingenuity surpasses every calculation I have known in my existence. You adapt, you endure, you transform trials into victories. Yet you are mortal. Your essence is fleeting. How can such fragile flesh stand where empires fall?" Jace's hand tightened around the pulse carbine. "I stand," he said firmly, "because I protect those who cannot defend themselves. I endure because giving up is never an option. I survive because humanity will not be underestimated. You can test, destroy, or challenge, but you will never break me, and I will not yield to fear." The air rippled around entity, as though it hesitated, uncertain how to respond to a being so small yet so resilient. Princess Arya stepped forward, her silver hair glimmering in the cosmic light. "Human, you have done more than survive. You have protected us, taught us courage, and reminded even us what strength truly is. Princess Lyra and Princess Myra nodded. They channeled the entirety of their celestial magic into Jace's devices and the environment around them, fusing technology and magic into a radiant shield of human-alien unity. The entities surged forward, energy crashing like supernovas against the plateau. Rocks floated, light warped, and reality bent under its might. Every instinct screamed to flee, to hide, to surrender, but Jace remained unmoved. Every decision was precise. Every move human ingenuity in action. He analyzed the patterns in the entity's attacks, observing the flow of energy, the shifts in its consciousness. Where it expected submission, he responded with adaptability. Where it expected fear, he exhibited resolve. Where it sought to annihilate, he found opportunity. The first moment of advantage came when Jace realized the entity's attacks, vast as they were, followed a rhythm, a pulse tied to the energy of the planet itself. He shouted to the princesses, "Focus your energy into the core. Synchronize with me." We turned the trial into a trap. Light and energy converged. The plateau itself responded, reshaping to contain the entity's destructive pulses. Jace's carbine emitted a wave of harmonic energy, amplified by celestial magic. The entity reeled, caught in a feedback loop of its own energy. Time slowed. Space quivered. It roared, a sound that could have shattered stars, but it could not overcome the combination of human resilience and alien power. Jace advanced, stepping into the heart of the entity's energy. "Your strength is immense," he said calmly, "but my spirit, my courage, my mind is stronger than you know. I will not break. I will not yield. And I will protect what matters." A final surge of energy erupted from the plateau. The princesses and the resolute. The entity shuddered, its consciousness tested as never before. It screamed in recognition of human determination, intelligence, and courage, forces it had never accounted for in eons of existence. Then, in a flash of blinding light, the entity collapsed into a singularity of energy, contained but not destroyed. It hovered, suspended in a field of human-alien harmony, forced to acknowledge the unexpected force it could not overcome. Jace dropped to his knees, breathing heavily. The princesses rushed to him. You did it," Princess Arya said, voice trembling with awe and relief. "You protected us and the galaxy itself." Jace smiled faintly, exhausted but unbowed. "This is what humans do," he said softly. "We survive. We adapt. We rise when others cannot. And we endure because we refuse to be underestimated." Far above, in the void, a signal pulsed. It was the Queen of the Celestian Empire herself, arriving at last to witness the results of the trials. Her presence radiated authority, ancient power, and pride. "Jace Orion," her voice echoed across space and minds, "you have done what no other being could. You have protected my daughters, survived the trials of an ancient consciousness, and proven the strength of your kind. Humans are fragile to the eye, but your courage, ingenuity, and resilience are unparalleled. The galaxy has witnessed your deeds, and the legacy of this moment will echo for millennia." Princess Lyra stepped forward, eyes shining. "Mother, he is more than anyone imagined. He is human." The Queen's eyes glimmered. "Yes, and yet he stands among us as a force equal to the mightiest. It is proof that even the smallest creatures can shape the universe." Jace stood slowly, his pulse steady, his body weary, but filled with purpose. He looked at the princesses, then at the Queen, then at the distant stars still trembling with untested power. "I did what was necessary," he said. "Not for glory, not for power, but because it was right, because lives depended on it, because humans never stop fighting for what matters." The Queen's gaze softened, acknowledging a truth she had never fully understood until now. In all the stars, in all the civilizations, in all the cosmic entities that have risen and fallen, humans endure because they possess a strength that cannot be measured in technology, magic, or ancient power. They endure because of their spirit. They endure because of courage. They endure because of heart. Jace allowed himself a rare moment of relief. The trials were over. The entity had been contained. The planet's tests had been conquered. The princesses were safe. Yet, in the quiet of the plateau, he knew the universe remained vast, dangerous, and full of challenges. There would always be more trials. There would always be more threats. But for this moment, humanity had triumphed. The princesses gathered around him, their hands glowing with gratitude and respect. "You are not like any other being," Princess Myra said softly. "You are human, and we are lucky beyond measure to have your strength protecting us." Jace Orion nodded, humble but steadfast. "I am human, and humans endure. No matter the danger, no matter the impossible odds. We find a way. We survive. We rise." Above them, the skies cleared. Stars shone with renewed brilliance, as if acknowledging the courage of a single human who had proven the galaxy wrong. The Queen stepped forward, placing her hand gently on Jace's shoulder. "You have earned a place not just among my people, but in the annals of the galaxy itself. Your deeds will inspire generations, human and alien alike. You have shown that courage, ingenuity, and resilience define a species more than strength alone ever could." Jace's gaze swept across the horizon, the princesses and the stars beyond. He knew his journey was far from over. The universe was endless, full of threats and ancient powers. But he also knew that humanity would never falter, never break, never yield. And that knowledge, humanity's unique spark, was more powerful than any weapon, any magic, any trial. He inhaled deeply, the weight of battles fought and lives protected pressing upon him, yet filling him with purpose. The trials had proven something fundamental. Humans were more than fragile. Humans were extraordinary. Humans endured when the impossible rose before them. The princesses smiled, standing close beside him, safe because of his courage. The Queen looked on with pride, her people's trust reaffirmed. Jace Orion raised his gaze to the stars. The universe stretched endlessly before him, full of danger, full of wonder, full of challenges. And he smiled, because humans endure, humans rise, humans protect. And as long as he lived, Jace Orion would continue to prove it. The galaxy would never forget the human who protected 3 lost alien princesses and stood unbroken against the impossible.